Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with the Armoured Moth. Today I'm going to be talking about the best tank line to go down, the best nation and everything like that. Just trying to help new players, get grips with the game. And I honestly believe the best tank line to go down is the Israeli, because it's very close. You got the Israelis, and then you've got the French. Now the difference is the Israelis have a unbelievable amount of armor. They're not too quick, but the French, now they're fairly quick. They are all quite quick, and they all have pretty good guns, but they don't have a lot of armor. Like the Liqueur T4 is only when you start to see the really good armor. Now, a lot of people say that the normal Liqueur has a lot more armor, so it has a lot more protection than the Liqueur T4. So we're just gonna actually look at this, and the Liqueur T4 is a fairly strong tank, along with this 140mm gun. I thought it was 150. I don't know why. 140. And then we look at the Liqueur, the normal one, and they just look absolutely fabulous. They really do. And the armor, you can say technically it is stronger, but not really. I mean, it may have a 120mm gun. If we get rid of the external, they're practically the same. The Liqueur T4, if I'm correct, is a little bit slower than the Liqueur. Anyway, we're going to talk about the AMX-50. Now, even though I said that the Israel tank line is the best, I still believe that the AMX-50 is the best starter tank. The reason why I say it's the best starter tank is because its gun, it has 9 rounds. 9 rounds. That you can devastate anything within sight. Absolutely everything. 9 rounds in autoloader. But not only that, you actually have composite armor at tier 3, which I don't think a lot of tanks have that. Steel. It says the sustained damage is very, very low. But I honestly believe this game hasn't really scripted it well. So, don't get fooled by the sustained damage saying it is super low. Because it's got 3,300 damage per minute. But you don't have the best penetration. Well, I mean, I'd say that, and I just looked at the time, and it's got 40mm. But still, you don't have the best penetration at tier 3. It's good penetration. I mean, it is better than the Timon. But it's not the best. So, what round do you use on this tank? Well, don't use the high explosive, of course. You want to use the APFSDS. I don't know why it has APFSDS. It should have APDS at least. APDS. And now you can go for either That's also another thing. You get 8 degrees of gun pressure with this tank, which again sounds a lot, and it is a lot. But if you look at your turret, 280 at the front. 280 at the front. Yeah, that's a lot of armor for a tank that's meant to be a quick, you know, light heavy tank. It's got an unbelievable amount of armor. Now, of course, you could go through the upper glaciers and the lower glaciers, but say you come across something like, say, your tier 3, right? Tier 3. Say you come across this thing, right? 73mm. If we use the heat, then it's got like a 38% chance to go for the upper plate, but it's got a 100% chance to go for the lower plate. And then of course if it uses the upgraded heat, it's just going to slice right through you. But this tank, it's a bit weird that it's got stronger turret armor than it does hull armor, because you want to rely on your hull more to take the hits than the turret. I'm not saying that, you know, completely reverse the roles of the armor. All I'm saying is that the hull could be a bit thicker. I mean, when this thing first came out on the test server, it was unbelievably overpowered. It was completely overpowered. It was completely unfair. I did actually make a video on it, and it seemed like that the developers actually took that into account and actually nerfed this thing by quite the hefty amount. It had 460mm of frontal turret armor. It had, I think it was like 420mm of frontal hull armor. It was ridiculously strong. It was stupidly strong. You know, able to shrug off half the ATGMs that are flung at you at tier 3. I don't know. I mean, I know that they've nerfed it by a massive amount. I mean, they've completely destroyed the whole armor, which is a good thing. I completely agree with the fact that this thing should not have tier 5 levels of armor. It should not have that. Anyway, moving on. We're not doing a review of this tank. We're just, you know, just trying to get somebody, you know, people to, you know, like starting out the game. This tank is one of the best starter tanks. I've already explained the gun. The mobility is fairly decent. It's a fairly mobile machine for a heavy tank, or main battle tank. Does 51.01 kilometers an hour. The fuel range is not that impressive at 390. I mean, there's tanks that, you know, even though they say, oh, it's the same fuel range, I struggle to spot with this thing. I don't know. The targeting system, the aim time is not that bad. It 207. You're not going to exactly be snapshotting shots in, but you're definitely going to feel nimble. You're definitely going to feel quick. You're going to feel like you can be aggressive in this thing. You can be aggressive, but just be careful of this big, massive weakness here. This is your weak point. Your hull is your weak point. What I would suggest you doing, and I've done this before, is this is, I don't know why this is so stupidly strong. It's meant to be like a steel of armor and then another steel of armor, and I don't know why. They could have done it for the front, but I'm pretty sure that they removed that. It says it's steel, but then it says it's composite. Anyway, what you want to do is you want to actually, when you come around the corner, you want to angle. Now this is unbelievable, but you want to angle your whole cheeks towards the enemy, which you World of Tanks players are probably going to be sweating and having fits and everything, saying don't angle, but this is the best thing to do is to angle in it to make your upper plate stronger and your lower plate stronger. I mean, your lower plate is unbelievably weak. I think the lower plate needs to at least be buffed slightly. Um, but yeah, angle when you come around the corner, when you poke around the corner. Of course, you're probably going to get shot here, but you know, if you're fighting against AI, they aim for the center mass of the tank. So the center mass is about, you know, here, but they're not really stupid AI. So they're gonna aim like, you know, here and everything. And I've had this so many times because I play PVE. I do play PvP sometimes, but I don't really find it that fun. Um, but you can use your armor so well. You can use your armor. You can even side scrape in this thing, which is ridiculous. It is just ridiculous. Now, you're gonna start to have problems when you start to over angle like this. This is when you start to over angle. This is where you start to show your massive vulnerable side. You don't want to do that. You want to come out at this sort of an angle, even at this sort of an angle, which is, you know, looks like a ridiculous angle. It looks like it's far too, you know, unangled. It is at a 72-degree angle, and you know, you Water Tanks players might be saying, oh, you know, that's too it's too you know, it's not angled enough. But that's still 300 effective thickness, which is a ridiculous amount of armor. Now you can reverse side scrape, which will make your profile smaller slightly, and let you show your turret. But what I've noticed playing this is when you reverse side scrape, your armor is actually more vulnerable, which is bizarre. But then when you look over, yeah, it says it's 35, but then unless I'm reading it wrong, it's just it's bizarre, really. It really is bizarre. Um, you know, when you reverse side scrape, you want to have to be more at an angle. So when you come on the corner, you want to be at this sort of an angle, the same angle as if you were normal side scraping. But do not be afraid to come around the corner to show your whole cheek, because they're not going to pen that. They will not pen that. I mean, if you're at this sort of an angle, they need at least 500mm pen just to pen that. Which still makes this thing fairly strong, not super strong. I mean, this thing still has its weak spots, and I still think it needs to retain those weak spots. The other plate is going to be a problem, and you know, I've had that problem so many times where even if you come over at an angle so that your upper plate is at more of an angle, people can still go right through it, and it's going to be a pain. But if you come over the hill at that sort of an angle and they shoot this, because they're going to be like, oh, weak spot. No, that's not a weak spot, that's layered armor. So don't shoot that. I mean, the layered armor used to be on the front, and the front used to be ridiculously strong. Um, but this is a good tank. Now, the question that's been, you know, arousing you know, all over my head is, are they going to add in the AMX50-120 and the AMX50B? I hope they do, because, you know, 120mm with, say, 6 rounds or 7 rounds and more effective armor. I mean, the AMX50-120, I think should have less effective armor than this thing. But the AMX-50B is going to be blindingly quick with a super powerful engine, but also have very good effective armor. So it should basically be like this, but the pre-nerfed version of the AMX-50-100. I really wish they called it the MX-50-100 instead of called it the MX-50, because there were so many variants of the MX-50, like with the 90mm, with the 105, with the 100mm. You know, I wish that they would just name it properly. Anyway, what we're gonna do is hopefully. Ugh. How am I low on ammo? Oh yeah, of course. My fault. Is hopefully we're gonna get into a public game. Hopefully I'll be able to show you exactly how to use this machine properly. Actually, I might actually go into a PvE game, because I don't think that PvP will be the best thing to do. So if we do this, hopefully we'll get into a game. But the MX-50 is a very good starter tank. I do recommend it. Before it came out, I would have recommended the Israeli line, or you know, the Chinese line. The Chinese line is also the line where it's quite sluggish at turning and acceleration, but they have a lot of armor. And you know, I would still recommend that line, but it's at my number 3 because they're not that good of tanks. I mean, they have a lot of weak spots, like for example the tier 6 premium. The entire turret is the weak spot. I mean, you can pen the turret roof every single time with any gun that is higher than 90mm or 93mm. I'm not entirely sure. But in all honesty, I adore this tank. It's a good tank. It's a really nice tank. You know, having 9 rounds in the mag is a bit excessive, but it has to be excessive because it's got basically no armor on the hull. So if they come around the corner and they can see your hull, they're gonna just dump rounds right into you. Would I have this thing, you know, at its original state, you know, when it first came in? Probably yes. I would probably have that back because I feel like the armor has been a bit too over nerfed.
We don't have a lot of time. To get to the BLM depot while they are out. Good luck. Doesn't look like they're
It is a fairly
expecting us.
maneuverable machine. And the turret is
Black Company, new
quite,
objective. Don't let those trucks get away.
you know,
The BLM is the government's emergency supplies.
elevation is, yeah, it's not quite there, but it is. No, it's been a bit of a dangerous game here. So I left one there. Now we, I know that we can clip left one. I know that for sure.
Identify target. Hostile PC.
Didn't bounce a shot there, and we blew his ammo out. So that's good.
Good work.
I think that guy's dead.
Identify. Hostile PC.
Now the interclick reload is extremely
We're hit.
long. It is very long.
We're hit.
Oh, went straight through my upper plate there.
We took a hit. Target down.
Recovered somehow.
Identify. Hostile PC.
That's the other thing.
Rotor, Sabo.
Can't press the gun. Now, did bounce a shot off the upper plate, surprisingly. But this tank really does excel, you know, going anti-clip feels a bit
Enemy destroyed.
really, in all honesty. I wish it would be a bit longer. A bit quicker, sorry. Not longer. Oh god, they're probably going to make it like 6 seconds now. But
Loader, Sabo.
what you want to do is after you've had like a little battle and say you got 4 out of the 9 rounds, you want to
Identify
reload those
targets.
rounds.
Hostile
You want
tank.
to reload this round because otherwise you're going to get absolutely decimated if you reload it. It may be a 13-second reload, but they can do a lot of damage in 13 seconds. Now we're going to load the
No pen. Ricochet. Target eliminated. Good work. Target locked. No pen. Target locked. Ricochet. No pen.
gun. Use the fleet gun out. Well, but yeah, it is a good tank. It really is a good tank. Is it a bit too underpowered? I wouldn't say it's underpowered. I would say it's underperformed. It's definitely not
Good work.
performing
We will
up
send
to
someone to the
the
government
standard
store
that
supplies.
everybody would like. The armor feels a bit too. It's either. I think the things that they should do is either make it, you know, have better acceleration, better speed, or buff the armor, because I don't know, to be honest.
Damn, we thought it'd be less garbage.
Fed would have reloaded my clip. So I don't exactly feel safe with having 2 rounds out of the clip.
Ammo up.
Oh,
Penetrated.
so long. I mean, if you miss your shot, well, that's it. Like, you're probably not going to be able to get that kill if you miss your shot.
No effect.
We're racking up quite the amount of damage, actually. We're up to 5,000 damage already. Jesus.
Enemy reinforcements incoming.
I keep on saying
Watch
I'm
out.
not, you know, I'm not a very good player. I'm actually going to clip again. But, you know, pulling out 5,000 damage may not seem impressive. It really isn't.
Ammo up. No pen. Enemy destroyed. Good work. Losing their
Okay.
orders will be a heavy blow to the PLM. They won't
So
be
that was
blowing
good.
up anything for a while.
You really want to play it more like a support tank. You know, play it more like a sniper in a way. Because you got quite. I don't know why it gets APF SDS, but hey, I mean, it gets APF SDS. It gets a ridiculous shell velocity, and you may not be able to pen most things. 5,700 bombs, that's ridiculous. You may not be able to pen most things, but you know, when it travels at 1,400 meters a second, that's ridiculous. Ridiculous speed. The reload time, the base reload time is 16 seconds. The interclick reload time at base is 6.67 seconds. But we have been able to, if I can find it, go in here. Now we would say, no, it won't. Upgrade ammo rack. burst rate fire is increased by 15%. Let's have a look. Yeah, also the other thing is that the base aim time is 2.4 seconds, which is quite sluggish, but you can work with that. Got the reload, the aim time down to 2 seconds, which is still good. You know, still not that impressive, sorry, but it's better than what it used to be. So, for sniper, you want improved stabilizer, you want improved torsion bars, and you want improved tracks. But if you want to be, you know, up close and personal, I would recommend taking these three. And then probably taking the improved gun sights, the improved muzzle brake, and then the improved trigger mechanism. If you want to go in close, but if you want to go out far, then take these three. Take the improved loading mechanic, the shot flash suppressor, so that your camo is, you know, better when you fire, and the improved trigger mechanism. I think this is a brilliant starter tank, and I think everybody that's starting out new should, you know, should go for this tank, because it's a good all-round tank. It is more for the sniper role, but it can also go up close. I mean, unlike, you know, for example, something like the IS-7, which can completely, you know, it's got steel armor, but when you look at the armor, if you just show your turret, not a lot of people aren't really gonna pen you, but if you come across something like, say, a tier 5, say, let's see, who's got a good missile? Yeah, the IT-1, I don't think a lot of people have the IT-1, but the IT-1 can completely nullify the IS-7's armor. But the IS-7 is a tank that, you know, the reload is alright for 130. The aim time, 2.55 seconds. That's with, you know, when I got everything on except the consumables. So we put this on. If we put this on, and then we could put the energy drink on, but I would put that on. Now, 2.55 seconds doesn't sound long, but in this game that is painfully long. That is a painful long reload. Not reload. Aim time. The MX-50, it's a good tank. It's better at long range than it is at close range. So there's that. Anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, give a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy this video, give a thumbs down. Put in the comment section what you think about, you know, for example, you know, War Thunder players. What tank line did you go for first? You know, what one did you go for? What one did you like? What one did you not like? I personally enjoyed the MX-50 on the test server. I did complain, say it was ridiculously overpowered. I kind of wish I didn't make that video now, because it would have been better if it just stayed as it is. But, you know, as a sniper, you know, it's brilliant. Anyways, I'm going to see you guys later. Peace!